Hi, Ashutosh. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, Ashutosh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What about me?
Okay.
Am
Yes,
I
yes,
audible to
yes.
you?
Yes, yes. You're audible now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, Ashutosh, I think I am meeting you for the first time, right? Is this?
Exactly. We had a session before, but due
Mhm.
to technical issue, we were
Okay.
not able to meet.
Okay. Okay. So, Ashutosh, I would love to know about yourself. Can you give an introduction?
Yeah, why not? So, my name is Ashutosh Dwivedi, and I'm
Mhm.
from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. About my education, I am pursuing my master's degree, that is Masters of Arts in English Literature. And
Mhm.
apart from this, I do run a YouTube channel which is based on spoken English conversations. So that's all
Mhm.
about me. So
That's
thanks.
wonderful. Yeah. That's wonderful. So, Ashutosh, like I would love to know, that you have been into this platform, English Yaari. So, are you, looking for more knowledge, or is it, like a more, conversational episodes for you where you can build up more, conversation with the people you love, or you know, things which
Yeah,
you would like to express.
yeah, for sure. I like making conversations with the people from all around the country. So that's
Okay.
why, and of course, it's good for my practice as well. So I can become
Mhm.
back better as I'm living in Kanpur. So it's not possible for me to get people with whom I can interact. So
Okay.
it's a good platform where I can interact with the trainers and professionals, and I can boost my confidence, and I can do a regular practice. So
All
that's why
right.
I'm here on English.
All right, wonderful. So you might be knowing that our today's topic of discussion is about newspaper,
Mhm.
and I would love to know, like before, if I ask you anything regarding newspaper, I would more, I would be asking you that, uh, like where all do you see newspaper? Like basically, what newspapers are used for various purposes besides reading, if I ask you.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I'll tell you. But before talking about the topic, can I know something about yourself as well, please?
Oh, yeah, sure, sure. So, as you can see, my name is Madhumita Kar, and I have a Master in English Literature degree, and I've done my B.Ed from English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, and I have been into this education industry for around 10 to 11 years. I taught in different schools around the country, precisely army schools, and at present, I am here in this platform. Uh, trying to help my learners in any way, wherever any problem if they have regarding their fluency, regarding the accuracy, regarding grammar, or any other content in English. I just try to help them out, and I feel really, a great pleasure that I have been able to help so many learners. So it's something, I'm fortunate enough that I got this opportunity actually.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So basically, you are from Hyderabad, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, I'm residing in Hyderabad at present. I'm not originally from Hyderabad, but I'm residing in Hyderabad.
Okay, so you hail from any other state, but nowadays you are in Telangana.
Yes, yes, yes. Right,
Okay,
right.
so can I know your native place?
I'm basically from West Bengal. That's my native place. And here in Hyderabad, it's been a long time that I have been staying here for a very long time. So this place has also become something very loving and close to my heart. This city has
I
also
can
become.
imagine when you spent a lot of time anywhere in the city, of course. So you
Mhm.
feel like a native place, your hometown.
Yes, yes, definitely. So, yes, now I would ask you, like, how often do you read newspaper? Or do you have the habit of newspaper reading or no, not at all?
Not at all, to be honest. Nowadays, newspapers are not popular at all. But what
Hmm.
I would tell you, when being a child or in my childhood, I used to collect a lot of pictures of the cricketers from the
Mhm.
sport, like in a page of the newspaper. That was
Yes.
my habit, and I was really crazy for it. I would collect all the. I had a lot of pictures of
Mhm.
Virat, Viren Sehwag, Sachin Tendulkar, and many more players in 2011 World Cup, 15. What I would
Right.
do, I was a student of Navodaya Vidyalaya. and
Okay.
so I wouldn't attend the class, but I would wait for the newspaper, and I would buy it for the sports page only. Because when there was 2015 World Cup, I still remember I was in ninth standard, and I would miss classes, but I would just buy the newspaper for getting the pictures or reading the whole stuff, because I was
Right.
very much interested in cricket and knowing the cricket stats. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's that's a crazy thing. And even though nowadays also, sometimes whenever I see newspaper here and there, maybe at a barber shop or maybe in somebody else shop, I would read
Mhm.
that sports page, that what is happening. Apart from
Okay.
just checking out everything on ClickBuzz, also it's
Mhm.
available, easily available for everybody to check like what is happening in the sports industry. So,
Yes.
but I'm not avid reader of newspaper. That's what I would
Mhm.
say. Really, I
Okay.
go for it when I don't have
Mhm.
anything to do. So, or I don't have a smartphone, or I'm just waiting in the queue for it. So maybe.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. I believe, that era has gone, basically when
Mhm.
newspaper was something, and a very hyped material for everyone to carry and to, just dig in their face into and read. I found a lot of
Yeah,
people,
it's an
I
obsolete
used to.
thing, but old people still like it. If you will
Yes,
see a guy of 60, 75 or 70, they like reading
right,
newspapers a lot, and they spend their hours and hours, 4 hours, five
right.
hours reading all the things in detail. But for the youngsters, I don't really feel, I haven't seen anyone. But the people who are preparing for the UPSC, so they read sometimes the good, like Indian Express or the Hindu, such kind of
Yes,
newspapers,
yes.
where they can
Uh,
read articles which can help them in their interviews or exams.
Yes, they read multiple newspapers, I believe, like because they have to be updated, they need to keep their knowledge
Mhm,
updated. So I believe that's, and besides like updating your knowledge, I believe newspapers in those times, I'm talking of long back, maybe,
mhm,
15 years back, if I talk about
mhm,
that, 10 to 15 years back. So at that time, like newspaper, not only 15 years back, I think more than that, you can say, but newspapers were like had such refined language, at that time. Uh,
mhm,
d- uh, Precisely, if I can name, there were few newspapers which had extremely like refined language. It wasn't something like which we read nowadays in the newspaper. Their languages
mhm,
were so at times it was difficult to understand, at times it was so refined, like you won't find any informal or any slang over in the you know uh, in the words, in the diction. And those newspapers, especially English newspapers, they really helped a lot of people. I know whom I know, they told me that they have learnt English by reading those newspapers, with they had this habit of reading every day. They would be reading the newspaper,
mhm,
especially the editorials one. you know the
mhm,
editorial part was that which was difficult, like it had the greatest the hardest diction, but still they would read, understand, and they said that we we learned this because they had been studying in regional medium schools, and they learn like learning, they didn't get that exposure of learning English, the fluency, acquiring fluency in that language. So they told me that we have learned English through these newspapers, with the help of
Exactly,
these
I have
newspapers.
seen people who will will take the newspaper, who would take the newspaper and take a dictionary along and
Yes.
write meanings of all those words, then just try to understand the essence of the editorial or things. Of course, the
Exactly.
people do it, and the language, of course, it was fantastic. But now the language in print media, it become like the more like
It
a
has
web series
deteriorated.
languages. So
Yes, yes.
now you can
uh,
see in web series is they use all the regional languages in the same in the newspaper. You are not going to find a
Absolutely.
very wonderful or good things with
Mm,
the words or sentences, sentence structure.
yes.
It's very normal for the people. Whatever they get in
Yes.
their mind, they write it.
Absolutely. I can see that the language has deteriorated. I believe still some newspaper agencies are still maintaining their image, they're still maintaining that decency. But most of the newspapers which you would be finding, it's more of, uh, the unnecessary stuffs which they write off. It's
Yeah, it
more, it's
depends on
also
a
about the
demand as well,
content.
right? I
Yes,
think it
yes.
depends on a demand because print media was really prominent before, but not now. So they don't want to
Right.
put a lot of efforts into it. Better than they come
Absolutely.
on YouTube and create their own channel and make a video
Yes.
for it. You can see a lot of channels now, they are focusing more on social media like YouTube, or
Hmm.
they have the Instagram page or Facebook, rather
Yes.
than just, focusing a lot of in the print media.
Right, right. That's true. Like we can say that newspaper has completely lost its essence, its popularity with the advent of social media. The moment like Instagram and Facebook and all those things have come, even like if you don't even open a social media app, you can just quickly swipe your phone and check the Google News also. So the news bulletins are given over there, headlines are given over there. People don't have
Mhm.
so much time nowadays that they would be carrying a newspaper and will read it. Basically, people just read through their through the smartphones. So
Yeah,
do you think?
smartphones, of course, and they read PDF newspapers as well. I have seen
Yes.
people who read on their
Hmm.
smartphone, or in sorts is there. You can get the news in 50 or 60 seconds with a small, article and things. So
Right.
nowadays, going for the hard copy and the paper in your hand, book in your hand, like really awkward for the people to do it. Like tabs, phones, and always they are occupied.
Hmm.
The people's
Right.
hands are really occupied just handling all those things, so they don't
So,
have the
like,
time.
if I ask you, like, do you have the habit of reading, like, right from your childhood? If
Reading
I
habit.
ask, yes, yes. Like, if I ask you, were you interested in reading books, or television? Like, you were more inclined towards screen television, or you did had the habit of reading books? Because I know uh, children, basically people who have this habit of reading, it starts
Mhm.
right from their childhood. Children who had been very good readers, like who they have spent a whole lot of time in reading books in their childhood, they become a very good reader. I have found them that basically they tell me that I have read this, that they had a huge collection, they have a library in their house, and they would show me that I have read these and all. But like that thing has decreased. We don't
Mhm.
see so many people who have this habit of reading, and a lot of learners they come across and they tell me that no ma'am, I do not have the habit of reading. So like if I ask you that, were you what kind of a child you were, like would you
Yeah,
like
when
to
it
read?
comes to my childhood, I was
Hmm.
born and raised in a village.
Hmm.
So I had not that gadgets, of course, the phone, or I nowadays you can see like the people from the childhood, from
Yes,
their
very common.
birth,
Right.
they start using like phone and tabs. Online schools are there also. Now you
Hmm.
don't have to go with the books in your school with the school
Right.
bags. But for me, as I was born and raised in a village, and I was a
Hmm.
student of Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya,
Right.
so screens were not allowed at all. Phone was not
Hmm.
allowed, and so we were totally based on books. But I was not a kind of reader who would
Hmm.
read like except syllabus. I would read the
Okay.
books of the syllabus, but I
Hmm.
wouldn't go for a reading a lot of other books. But
Hmm.
after passing, I read few books like Turning Point of My Life, Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and
Hmm.
Ikigai by Hector Gracia, Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. I read few books, self-help books, and then I moved to like spiritual books little bit. I read few books like On the Way to Krishna and
Hmm.
Perfect Questions and Perfect Answers.
Hmm.
So trying to read Bhagavad Gita. So yeah, I try my best to read all those books, maybe from the books or maybe from the laptop, whatever it is. But reading is reading. So,
Hmm.
but I try nowadays because reading is very important. Whatever has been written in the scriptures, you can't see from you can't get from the videos of the people now who are only
Right.
30, 40, or 50 years old. But the scriptures has been written like 5,000 years ago. So, like
Absolutely.
you know. Hmm.
Absolutely. And I especially asked this question to you because, you told me that you are a student of English literature and you have done your, uh, degree in that, like in
Yeah,
English literature. That is
basically,
the
I will tell
reason.
you this story. There was a great, it was a kind of U-turn. Basically, I was a commerce student, and I
Okay.
have done my BCom honors accounting from Banaras Hindu University. But
Hmm.
during COVID, when I came back to my hometown, I thought of pursuing my career in English literature because I was
Okay.
really into communication. I started working on my personality development things. So then
All
I
right.
thought, just let's do a degree in English. Why not to go for it? So
Right.
that's why I was doing. Basically, I did my education in 3 years, 11, 12, and 3 years of the graduation.
Hmm. That's wonderful. It's good that people find out their passion and then they pursue. I love that thing. Last also, last day, there was one learner who told me that, he changed his track and he went to some other track. He was like, he had been listening to a um, like public speaker on YouTube, and he was really influenced by that person. And he realized that, it's high time that he should change his track where he would be focusing more, he would be more passionate about. So I believe, that's it's like, uh, people say that there is a particular time you cannot go beyond than that, but it's not about time, it's about like whenever you feel like you can uh,
Yeah, in
pursue your
our country,
passion.
this kind of things are really prominent or dominant. I would say if you choose arts, you can become only like IAS. That's what the people think about. If you have chosen the like commerce, you have to become the CA or the banking. You can't like go for another track. But when
Mhm.
you see in other countries in the US, I have seen they have the career in all like sort of backgrounds. Not a
Yes.
single thing that they would be a banker for the whole life. No, they
Right.
would do
Right.
banking for 5 years, then they would go to something else. So it's
Hmm.
really we should have this freedom to choose where you can explore yourself and become better. So that's what
Yes.
I feel.
Yes, definitely. I believe that's true. So, yes, I was talking about that reading habit that you told me that as a child you didn't read much books beyond syllabus.
Mhm.
So after graduating, like after doing your graduation in English literature, like your postgraduate in English literature. So did you like the books which you said? Have you tried
Mhm.
like fiction? Any books which you have read recently? uh, you told me that you have been reading spiritual books and all,
Mhm.
basically. So any other books which you have read of late?
No, only like I recently I read two books that I told you
Hmm.
the perfect question and answers
Hmm.
and the on the way to Krishna. But I'm not very much deep into literature or fictional things. That's
Hmm.
what I said. So I want to go for these scriptures and things in future. Also, I would love to go forward and read these things like uh, deeply. So
Okay, okay. All right, all right. So then, see, yeah, definitely, I believe any kind of reading is beneficial for you. As long as you read, you keep on exploring those words, you keep on exploring new expressions, new emotions. It's a wonderful habit. Basically, I
mhm.
try to inculcate that among my students and among like to everyone. I always tell that, build this habit among children right from the very beginning, that they start reading books. It's a wonderful habit, which they would do because nowadays, basically you would find everyone to be busy with the gadget. They are carrying a smartphone, and as soon as they open a smartphone, the first thing which they come across is all these social media apps and all. And somewhat, it
Mhm.
helps, it distracts them from any sort of creativity. It is taking away
Mhm.
the creativity of the children. you know Remember in
Right.
school, like in our early times, newspaper was one thing which was also a source of entertainment also, right? We used to play puzzles, we used to have those sudoku challenges, and we used to all scribble over those things. It was a wonderful time when we had this source of entertainment. At the same time, it was educative also, right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
mostly you would find nowadays kids are busy, either seeing reels or creating reels. So it's basically, I would rather say that it's somewhere it's taking their creativity away. um, it's taking, like, the retention power of the children is decreasing. Why? You would just see how they swap quickly, just either they scroll it up, these reels, every 9 second of reels they are just quickly, scrolling it up. It shows that, how, like, small the retention power is, like, it is going on, it's turning into, we hardly focus on to anything more than 10 seconds, like, like, we are not focusing. You would see anybody, like, who is nearby us, like any child who will be holding a phone, you would just see that, there's a scrolling. Even if they are playing
Exactly.
games, it's you would see that children, they are having difficulty in concentrating or focusing, because all these things, taking away their retention power. So that is the reason that, it's becoming difficult for this younger generation to hold up and to hold up the information, or to being more creative. That is the reason, I asked that, in our childhood also we didn't get to, but I remember I used to read a lot of comics. Those were, like, I was extremely fond of, reading comics at that time when I was in school. So as you said, did the, like you said, you studied in Jawahar Navodaya. I studied in Kendra Vidyalayas. I can relatively I can find that, children were almost same in our schools, where, one child would carry one comic books, and that book will revolve around into every desk. That's what used to happen,
Yeah,
right?
when we would go to like library, we would take Champak or some like magazines. We would
Yes,
read
yes,
because we had no option for the phone and things, right?
exactly.
So but we used to enjoy all these things. But nowadays, as you said, that concentration level is really going down. And not
Hmm.
about the kids. I see the people who are mature enough, they can't watch a video of 10 or 15 minutes. Only
Right.
15 seconds is really tough for them. They want all kind of knowledge in 15 seconds. How is it possible?
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I was trying to say. I was trying to explain, that is the point with that. We all have become like so, and I believe that it is affecting our, affecting our mentality in some way, that we have become indecisive also. We are not being able
Mhm.
to take the decisions at the right moment, at the with the right things, maybe because of all that chaos which has been created by these things. Whenever we open any
Yeah,
social media app, we are just like watching these influencers, or maybe something else, with like a short reel. Some people are doing a really great job. They have been educating people, they have been giving the right information. Some things are, turning really good. So as you would
mhm,
see that a lot of people are building up their good business through Instagram pages, right? Small
mhm.
scale homemade, you would see that, especially after COVID, people have started their own businesses, and they have been carrying it in a very good way through digital marketing.
Biggest platforms.
Some
Mhm.
people are learning so much from YouTube. Most of my learners, they come and they tell me that I have learned this from YouTube, I have learned all these things from YouTube. That's something good, like, that's something, really informative, and that's a good way of you are engaging yourself with the social media. But then there are
Exactly.
some people also who have been just, misusing and just wasting a whole lot of time over media, giving unnecessary you know creating reels and all those things. So I believe, people also need to be alert enough to be to understand that what is the right content for them, in which they should
Exactly.
focus more,
Right. It's
right?
a tool,
Yeah,
of course, actually, but for that you need a certain level of maturity to use it because it's not a
exactly.
stock, it's flow. When you go with the flow
Hmm.
on social media, you don't even know like why you came on YouTube. You came to watch a lecture, you came here to watch a topic, but you would start scrolling. or maybe something else which is not really useful for you. So for that, a very mature person only can do it. Otherwise, it's very difficult. They are like creating, or just that in that way, that for sure it is going to, you are going to be there on for hours and hours. Even though if you are sure that you will watch a video for 5 minutes, but
Mm-hmm.
impossible that you would spend more than 15 or 20 minutes there.
Absolutely. Right. Right. That's true. So, Ashutosh, it was a wonderful session with you. I think my time is also up. I have my next session. But, it was great talking to you and I enjoyed this experience. Hope we'll have more such experiences. Hope we'll have be more
Yeah,
meetings together. So,
yeah,
definitely,
sure.
looking forward to meeting you again.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.